We don't know how long each episode's going to be, but she had years to document this, and we have so many questions that are still left unanswered. Like the 1989 sets. Why are we missing the solid green and the green and yellow? Was that intentional, or was this our tablet time?
How was the set list chosen? Why did you not include debut? Why does Speak Now only have 1 or 2 songs? All the usual questions we see in like every video talking about this for the last year or 2.
Girl, what was your day like? What time did you wake up? What time did you get back to the hotel room? What were you doing while we were filing into the stadium?
So with the docuseries only being a month away, many are curious about what Taylor is going to reveal, asking some very interesting questions. Check some of those out in this video.
The Eras Tour documentary is going to be here before we know it. We're going to blink and the holiday collection will be here, and then right after Thanksgiving, we're coming straight up on the first 2 episodes of this docuseries. And we're already starting out with questions like, when are the other 4 episodes coming out? We don't know how long each episode's going to be, but she had years to document this, and we have so many questions that are still left unanswered. Like the 1989 sets. Why are we missing the solid green and the green and yellow? Was that intentional, or was this our tablet time? Because it very much distracted us so she could stay focused on other things. We clowned the hardest over these. But did she know that we actually set up kind of like our own free gambling site to bet on what outfit she was going to wear? Did she know about Swift Alert? And did she know about Mastermind? Because the Swifties who created that created more than just an app. They created an entire community. And that had a big impact on how many people were watching the Eras Tour every single night on the streams, because people were watching to see how many outfits they got right. And that's trickled down to Sabrina, as the fans still do that for Sabrina as well. I need to know if she actually swallowed a bug. Not once, but twice. And if this was actually an Easter egg for the Shiny Bug collection. There's been theories, I'm just curious. I'm so interested in the way that she curated the set list, because it did change and it updated, but I feel like she put insane amount of thought into this. But I'm still so disappointed in Speak Now forever only having 1 song off of it, when it's her entire self-written album. Like, I have questions. And from the trailer, it seems as though she's going to give us that behind the scenes as well, because this entire section, these 6 songs over here on these post-it notes, they all made it onto the set lists. Also, Slut didn't come out until on the Eras Tour, so I have questions about all of this. This could be surprise songs as well, which is another question I have, because not only did surprise songs kind of follow her entire touring career from when she was a kid, she had one every single tour except for Fearless. Speak Now tour, she had surprise song covers, and then she went into surprise songs from her discography from then on out. The surprise songs were always really special to her, but we turned it into something so massive when one fan gave her the mashup idea. They mashed up Is It Over Now and Out of the Woods, and that was the very first mashup that Taylor used coming back into Paris on the European leg. But since then, it's brought her even closer with her friends that she was touring with, as they all did mashups with her on stage, which means she had to not only rehearse these by herself backstage and off the stage, off tour on the off days, but she had to bring her friends in and have closer jam sessions for them to all get these mashups down and ready for that night. And she gives us previews of that in the trailer very quickly with the flashes of them behind the scenes and then on stage. For everyone that came out on stage with her, except for Jack Antonoff. We have Ed Sheeran, and on stage as well. Florence and her when they shut down the stadium to practice for her to show up and surprise everyone with Florida. To the madness of it happening, and yes, I am counting this as a surprise song because this was an utter surprise. And I cannot wait to see her reaction of hearing the crowd's reaction after she does quick changes. And of course, Gracie too, and peep the exit sign behind Gracie's head back there. Into them on stage. We're gonna get to see why her crew stays with her her entire career. The way she leads them, the way she directs them, how she starts her shows, what happens after the shows. And the one thing that I am scared of the absolute most is whatever is happening in this little clip with her and Mama Swift laughing at something on her phone. But please let it not be us. I'm hoping we get a preview into her workout because everyone has been begging for that. Her stamina and her cardio along with her core and her strength it has to be studied. I don't think people realize how in shape you have to be to do the Eras Tour. Which, speaking of, she did 16 quick changes. So I need all the details on how they got that down on perfect timing, and I bet they got by the end of the tour to where she was resting in between quick changes. And of course, the topic of conversation that everyone wants to have right now is Taylor ever going to speak out? And I do think she's going to somehow in this docuseries. It's being filmed at the time the administration's changed and during elections. This was all during the Eras Tour. Taylor endorsed Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party during the Eras Tour. So this is all things that was happening behind the scenes and off stage, and I'm assuming around cameras. So I'm assuming we're going to get like a Miss Americana kind of moment again. And don't even get me started on logistics. Like, I have so many questions about how they got the stage to places. And I know there's two, and there's always one moving ahead of it. But what if the next stop ahead of it is a different country? I have questions, because they travel with all these semi-trucks, but in my head, I can only picture the Eras Tour stage, like floating at the whim of the ocean to the next country, hoping it doesn't sink, and then it just gets picked up by another truck. So many questions. And it's all going to be answered in just a couple of weeks. And this is just skimming the surface of the questions that I actually have. So let me know some of yours in the comments.
Taylor Swift's upcoming Disney Plus documentary series for the Eras Tour has got me thinking a lot of questions, not unlike everybody else. There are some obvious things that we all want to know. How was the set list chosen? Why did you not include Debut? Why does Speak Now only have 1 or 2 songs? All the usual questions we see in like every video talking about this for the last year or two. But I have a few very specific questions I want to know. When Taylor began rehearsals for the Tortured Poets department, were all 7 songs from this specific set already finished recording and mastered and done? Or was she using previous mixes or click tracks? When this set debuted in Paris, Taylor said they began preparations for it 8 or 9 months beforehand, which means the rehearsals for this would have started right after the LA shows during the 1989 Taylor's Version rollout. But was the entire album finished by then, or just these 7 songs? I need to know. It's hard to imagine now, but Taylor really didn't used to do a lot of mashups. So what gave her the idea? Was it the viral sound of Is It Over Now and Out of the Woods? What made her go, you know what, we're gonna mix it up? And also, why are there some songs you never sang at all? Again, I need to know. The other thing I want to know is, will she actually mention some of the TikTok trends that were going on before the Eras Tour was announced that absolutely influenced the set list? Like the Enchanted trend, the Wildest Dreams trend, the Don't Blame Me trend. I want to know. Mostly because I just want confirmation so that I don't have to keep explaining this to people over and over and over again, just how influential the TikTok trends were to the Eras Tour set list. Y'all kept ignoring Debut, that's why we didn't get any Debut. How long in advance did you know that orange was going to be the color scheme of your next album? Was it process of elimination? Because it takes time to sew outfits like this. And you yourself said in a recent interview that there were a lot of orange clues on the tour. And if you knew your album after the Tortured Poets department was going to be orange, and you wouldn't be writing and recording the album until the European leg, just how long have you had some of these ideas for songs on the life of a showgirl? Most importantly, how did you keep a straight face knowing that whole concert you were about to debut the gold bodysuit for Reputation? And what did you think about the reaction when you got off stage that night? I know your pea brain thought that this would be the funniest joke ever, and it absolutely was. So I want to know what you thought about it. I cannot wait to watch this documentary and the film, of course. But the final question I want to know is, how did you feel when you got off that stage in Vancouver for the final time, knowing that you were shooting a documentary and a film and we would know all about it, and you would be saying nothing until The Life of a Showgirl came out? Mother is a troll, and I want to know how that felt being so sneaky. What questions do you have for the documentary? Let me know in the comments.
Here's a list of random questions I hope Taylor Swift answers in the docuseries. Part 1. Of many. Girl, what was your day like? What time did you wake up? What time did you get back to the hotel room? What were you doing while we were filing into the stadium? What time did you sit down for hair and makeup? Please confirm, it was Showgirl CDs you were signing, right? What the hell was this for? And why'd we see it multiple times? Why did you leave out 2 missing 1989 outfits? Was there a reason, or were you just fucking with us? While we're on the topic, where is this one? For science, when did you commission the Tangerine Lover bodysuit? Follow up, how long was the turnaround time from when you ordered it to when you received it to when you wore it? For science. Was there a favorite night on the Eras Tour? I'm sure she'll never give us a specific show or location, but I would love to know if there was a special moment. Girl, who helped you plan the Easter eggs? Who do you trust enough to help you with wardrobe, hair, costuming, etc.? I would like to see the Excel doc, please. How did you do it? How did you record and release Torture Poets Department while on tour, while changing the set list, while writing and recording The Life of a Showgirl and planning that promo and changing your costume and planning your interviews and your engagement and your relationships and your friendships? How did you do it? And how did you make every single show feel unique and special? This is the first of who knows how many parts, but let me know if you have more questions for Taylor in the comments.
So out of all of the great questions being asked by fans, one of the big ones that I don't see mentioned as much is how Taylor handled the mishaps during the Eras tour as they were happening. Because they were pretty shocking, funny, and exciting to witness live, especially the rain shows. And so we can only hope that she at least touches one or a few moments. Speaking of Eras tour moments, check out some of its biggest bloopers in this next video.